Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle with me and Surreal here. I am currently playing as a Bretonnian, Surreal is playing as the Empire, and we are facing off against a green skin and a Dwarven player. For my army here, we have a front line of spears, 2 paladins, a damsel, 2 peasant bows, 5 men-at-arms, 2 mounted yeomen, and a Grail Knight. The mounted yeomen are just there to intercept charges, and then the Grail Knights to come in afterwards. They're just fodder, is why I brought them for this one specifically. So that's my army, and then Surreal's army. Oh, right, also 2 Pegasus Knights. Kind of big deal. For Surreal's army, we have 3 cannons, one of which is the one with renown, the Hammer of the Witches. We have 2 handgunners, Volkmar the Grim on his War Altar, 4 of these Flagellants, an Empire Captain, an Amber Wizard out there at the very end, 4 Halberdiers, and then a Royal Altdorf Griffin Renown unit. Over here are 2 Savage Orc Boy Biggins, 2 Giants, Orc Warboss, Shaman, 2 Goblins, Black Orc, whole line of Biggins, and a Goblin unit. Then over here for the Dwarf player, we have 2 Grudge Throwers, which you don't see too often. We have a lot of Gyrocopters. I think these are all the basic Gyrocopters. Pretty sure. Yeah, no brimstone guns or anything. 2 Slayers, 2 Longbeards. We have a generic Dwarf Lord, a whole line of Dwarven warriors with great weapons, and then 2 Miners with blasting charges, and a Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggin over there. So this is paused because at the very beginning, these 3 cannon emplacements from Surreal are going to be firing upon these Boar Boys in the distance. And they're going to be taking some damage. They're going to be taking a lot of damage, actually. Hammer the Witches, bonus versus large. So they are doing a lot of damage to the, look at that. Already. My line over here is going to be lining up to accept the Orc charge. The Dwarves will be coming in afterwards. Their Orc Warboss charges in the front, which I am okay with. We're getting nailed by those Grudge Throwers here. They are doing some damage to our Spearmen, but that is okay. They are brave Bretonnians. Paladins lining up behind them. Peasant bows starting to launch their arrows against the Orc Biggins. And you can see our lines are just ready. There's even a Bretonnian standing out of line. The Orc Warboss here is going to charge. So I'm going to accept his charge with the King because the King is better than an Orc Warboss. Also, I have support of peasant bows if I need them. Our damsels nearby, so I'm pretty confident that the King can take out an Orc Warboss in the Wyvern. So I'm going to just let that fight happen. We also have the Sword of Corone upgrade on the King, so I'm going to be activating that right here. That's what this aura is. And then our Bretonnians are going to just take that charge. Paladins are going to be going in. Volkmar the Grim is going to be coming over to assist us here shortly. While the brave humans just fight them. Oh god, Grudge Thrower. My 2 Pegasus Knights are going to be sent off against those Grudge Throwers here shortly. The Dwarven lines are moving up, but they are a lot slower than the Orcs are. And so we just have a massive line of melee Orc Biggins against us. Surreal's forces are marching up. His cannons are still doing damage to, I believe, the cavalry unit, and then they're going to be fighting at this giant. Over here, you can see that I have defeated their Orc Warboss for the most part. They're actually trying to run away, but I am not letting them. The Dwarves are moving in over here. On this side, one of my mounted yeomen was taken out by the Savage Orc Boar Biggin, and then we charged in behind it with Grail Knights, so now we're going to be taking that unit out. And then this mounted yeoman is going to be charged by these Savage Orcs, and I'm going to accept that charge. Right now I'm pulling in men-at-arms to try and support this fight that's about to happen. You can see a giant over there dealing with another men-at-arms group. Gyrocopters coming in to shoot up our yeoman, but we're going to give a charge. Grail Knights just finished off those Savage Orcs, so they're going to be coming over here next. And we're going to be charging these Savage Orcs from the left with the men-at-arms and the Grail Knights. Again, the mounted yeomen are only here to take the initial charge of enemy cav. The Grail Knights are here to actually kill them, and in this case also there's a Foot of Gork. The men-at-arms are going to help as well. The Savage Orc Boy Biggins don't really have much chance in this type of situation, although they do rout our yeomen, but that's totally okay. Here comes another Savage Orc Boy group into our Paladins. Now, they did get that charge off, which is really good for them, but they are still facing off against Grail Knights and men-at-arms that are supporting, so that's not a good fight for them. These gyrocopters up here are just firing at our infantry units. And I am probably just going to show this battle again so we can view more of the infantry fight and what's going on with Surreal's battle. In the back over here, way back here, our Pegasus Knights are dealing with those grudge throwers. I'm not too concerned about the gyrocopters, but we will be heading there shortly after this. My leader, I wanted to get rid of the Orc boss, so I was willing to chase him. So I chased him all the way out here. He was still broken, and I was like, okay, well, I've chased him far enough. He's surely going to rout off the field. Nope. Nope, just before the edge, he comes back, and we're going to have to deal with him later. But I wanted to bring the king back because he's way far away from his soldiers there. So yeah, our Pegasus Knights just flew back here. There's nothing there to challenge them, so they are just freely murdering these crews. Our king is heading back as the dwarves are finally getting into position to give us a charge. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, hold on. Some of their army is charged, some of them have stayed back. That's a lot of dwarves. So right now we are currently pulling back towards the Imperial lines that are sitting back here. Our king and our Pegasus Knights are going to be heading over here to deal with these gyrocopters, who are now currently trying to run from us. Give you an overview of what's happening here. So the Bretonnian line has taken the charge of both of the orcs and then also the dwarves. So you can see our infantry, they have held out a long time, but some of them are routing. They're coming back with minimal forces left. We have some spearmen there. Our men-at-arms are still holding this flank off by themselves, which is really good. And we're about to get a nice charge off with our Grail Cav.
Protect the flanks!
Just tossing those dwarves as the Curse of the Winds hit them from our damsel. So they can't really fight back here because their melee attack is basically 0, I think. Yeah. So this Grail Knight is kind of for free. I think there's always at least a 1% chance that the enemy will hit you, even with a 0. But still, it was a nice timing. Some more biggins coming back from routing. Paladin sitting there with the Grail Knights fighting side by side. The Imperial lines are still kind of just hanging back. Surreal said that he wanted to have a nice line of troops to have a fallback point, and he was focused on using his cannons to take out the giants, which totally works for me. Like, if my infantry can just hold them in place, which is what we're kind of doing right here, it provides a great line of fire for their handgunners and their cannons. So that's what's going on right here. Our Pegasus Knights have now charged into the gyrocopter lines, and you can see they cannot handle Pegasus Knights. Not many flying units can, really. That's Bretonnians. One of the Bretonnians' strongest unit. Dominates the air. Again, for the most part. This is Surreal's Manticore, which is helping us take out these gyrocopters. And you see our line is still holding strong. We have our paladins leading the charges. Peasant bows just peppering this orc shaman. Not sure what he's casting here. Not sure. Oh, it was an explosion spell over there. Volkmar the Grim has been doing repeating charges into the Dwarven and Greenskin line. Which has been really helpful. Girl Knights do another charge and now are cycling out. Here comes the king to help out who remains. Although he does kind of dive into these slayers, which was not my intention. There goes Volkmar's AoE spell. The damsel. So, I missed it, but this was a very laggy match. And in laggy matches, when you're trying to cast spells, sometimes it's a little finicky. So I buffed her with, oh, it's already off. Well, her single buffing spell, which increases melee defense and attack, I can't remember what it was called. I was going to target the king, but because it was laggy, I accidentally targeted her. And I was like, well, I spent these winds of magic, we might as well go in. So she went in with like a 50 melee attack and melee defense and just charged in there. That's why she's in there. And now she's under the effect of the Grand Hammer of Sigmar from Volkmar, so I just kept her in this fight. I almost never put her into melee, but you know what? Why waste that winds of magic? She had a buff spell on her. She still does, you know, decent weapon damage. These men in our group still fighting, being supported by the Grail Knights. All of these slayers. Sword of Corone is such a good debuff from the king. At this point, I kind of forgot to cycle out my Grail Knights, so now they are taking a lot of damage. I should have pulled them out at this point. Some of the gyrocopters are still there. I believe I send my Pegasus Knights up to deal with them soonish. Paladin and the King are going to be taking some decent amount of damage from these Slayers. But that's okay. And now we're just trying to get a surround on these Dwarven Longbeards. Yes, you do, Spearman. Volkmar charging into the middle, dropping his AoE spells again. This War Chariot, or whatever, this War Altar just has a lot of mass to get in and out of fights. I like this Warrior Priest just hanging out on the back of it. Although I don't know if he actually ever attacks. He may just stand there. Yeah, I think he just stands there. Here comes the Manticore and Pegasus Knights. And that is going to signify the end of this battle. And here comes the Empire forces. They had positioned out here. I'm not sure why he did, but then they came charging here at the end. And that's going to be a GG. Let's take a look at the kill count, and then we'll watch some of that again without me commentating and going all over the field. Alright, the King got a lot of kills, to be expected. The Paladins are, I think, a very solid unit when you put them on the Warhorse. I mean, they're still okay even unmounted. But mounted, they have that bonus to charge, and they can get in and out of situations and help whatever line is faltering or needs support. So I really like putting them on the horses, or you can put them on Pegasus. That's fine too. But they got a lot of kills. The Spearmen and the Man-at-Arms, the amount of kills I think is okay, but they really held the line. Because again, they held the line from the Orc Biggins, and then they held the line against the Dwarf, well, for the most part, against the Dwarf Warriors too. So very proud of the Bretonnian line. Peasant Bowmen, one of them got shut down by... Honestly, I can't remember. Maybe we'll see that in this next pass as we watch the battle again. I don't remember what shut them down. But this unit, 79 kills, is a lot. The Mounted Yeomen got charged and routed. But that's fine. They took the damage away from the Grail Knights, which was their whole purpose. Grail Knights did really good, and then the Pegasus Knights did okay. They could got a higher amount of kills, but I sent them away to deal with the Grudge Throwers and then the... Gyrocopters, so they weren't really pounding the enemy infantry to get a ton of kills. And then that Mounted Yeoman, or Men-at-Arms got a lot of kills as well. For Surreal, Volkmar got a lot of kills. Besides him, his mainline infantry honestly wasn't really in the battle for that long. But his Riflemen got a lot of kills. His Griffins got 0 kills. Did he just forget them? 0 kills on a Griffin unit. And then the Cannons got a high amount of kills as well, especially the Hammer of the Witches there. For the enemy, the Orc Biggins, I think, did really good for the most part. The Savage Orcs, some of them did, well, one of them did okay. Black Orcs got shut down, apparently, before they even reached the battle. I missed that. And only one of the Giants did really well. Goblin Big Bosses, they're super cheap. Super cheap. Or can potentially be really cheap if you want them to be. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't use them enough to know like how many kills they can get, but they are just a duelist, so they don't really have a bunch of AoE potential like a lot of other lords and heroes do. I don't know. The Goblin Big Boss is funny, and I'll use them in like the Gobbo build, but honestly, I don't. Like they could be really good on a mounted spider, and then you send them after like enemy casters. Then in that case, they can do a decent job of silencing casters. But besides that, For the dwarf player here, decent amount of kills with the dwarven warrior frontline. Same thing with the miners. The lord only got 8, which is really low for a dwarven lord. The slayers, one did really well. The grudge throwers, I think, did pretty good. They're really cheap. The gyrocopter spam is an odd choice, I think. I'm not sure why they chose to put so much money into gyrocopters. They're not an amazing unit. They're okay sometimes. But like even then I would only maybe bring 2. But this is so much money poured into the Air Force that is just easily countered by, like, especially against Bretonnia. You're not going to see Pegasus Knights every time, but you have a high chance of running into an army that is going to field a unit that can take out all of this, you know? So just be careful what you're deploying against what army, basically. So let's go watch that battle again. Brave Bretonnians. The amount of courage needed to stand still as a giant group of, whoa. Of orc biggins are charging you. Think about that. These creatures that are just towering over you, you gotta just stand there and take it. There goes their orc war boss. Defeated in battle rather quickly. These spearmen are routing, but we will have men-at-arms and Volkmar nearby to support. Let's go watch some of the fight with Surreal. Oh, there's those goblins. There you are. The one group. Woo! Looks like that was actually cast behind their lines for the most part. Looks like the rifles are focusing on the giant. There's that Manticore being summoned by the Emperor Wizard right there. Jeez. Focus down. Now, the Orc Biggins do have a slight bonus versus large, and the Manticore is not very heavily armored, so Orc Biggins in theory should do really well against a Manticore. Just an observation. But it looks like the Orc line, what was the Orc line over here, has crumbled. Trying to get over here, there we go. And this man-at-arms group is just going to hold for ever, just ever. Call these people the Immortals. They just sit here and just take it.
Send them back to their hell.
Oh, look, I'm Big Boss. Hey, what up? That was a little bit more devastating from that Orc Shaman. The Big Boss does look cool. I like the look of the Big Boss. Could use a bandana, though.
The Enchantress grants us strength.
And there's that same group of men-at-arms, man. They just sat here the entire battle. Oh, God. Oh! Oh, that's rude. Jeez. So this is what was destroying them. Satchel charges can do very well against these low armored units. Oh, man. Ooh, nice. That's actually kind of a bad charge on my part, going through our own units. Into Slayers, no less. Get in there, damsel. I believe that's the sort of Corone. Hey, there's a Dwarf Lord. I didn't notice him the first time. Their numbers dwindle. Hey, Empire Captain. Look at that jump kick. God. Slayers is so cool. I just saw like 3 Slayer heads pop off. Oh, poor Slayers. Oh, and a 4th. Alright, anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. I will see you all next time. Take care.